Welcome, Agile friends. My name is Vasco Duarte, and I'm hosting this keynote with our amazing speaker, Judy Rees. Hey, Judy, welcome.
Hello, thanks for having me.
Absolutely. So, Judy will be talking about clean language. We'll dive into that in a minute. But first, I want to call your attention to two other keynotes that are happening at the Agile Online Summit this year. Bob Payne will be talking about how we have lost track of what really matters in Agile and, of course, how to get it back. And Jutta Eckstein is going to talk and share her experience of focusing on sustainability also in how we develop software. So you can check all of those at agileonlinesummit.com. But now it's time to focus on clean language and our speaker, Judy Rees. So Judy, to get us started, tell us a little bit more about your own journey and how did you come to think and then write and consult on the topic of clean language?
Ooh, well, I've done lots of things as well as consulting on the topic of clean language, but one of the things that's caught people's attention in recent years, particularly in the Agile world, so Scrum Masters and software developers, Agile coaches, and actually people who are introducing Agile in other areas outside software, they seem to grab hold of this idea of clean language, which is something I started working on a scary number of years ago, probably 20 years ago. Its label, clean language, comes from its creator, David Grove, the late David Grove. And if only it could be called something else, that would be great, because it's not a language. And even the phrase clean language, some of the people listening will know that there is a computer language called clean. So there is a clean language already. It doesn't, so all the confusion and all the thing around that, but don't worry about that. The thing that captured my attention about this topic was I had been a news journalist. I was a news journalist when I first came across this subject. And as a news journalist in training, they tell you, they press into you that everybody has a story to tell. It's your job to help them find it and tell it. And when I came across clean language, I thought this is a really high value tool to help people to find and tell their own stories, to share their stories, and to encourage other people to share theirs. And when I say stories, it's less a news story, but just whatever they're talking about, whatever they're thinking about. Clean language provides a really useful tool for doing it. And it captured my attention because it also takes a very interesting view of metaphor. And as a news journalist, you're often paying attention to metaphor in language. But interestingly enough, my dad, when I was a teenager, had been doing a bunch of research about how the metaphors we use in our language influence the way we think, and also how the metaphors that are used in management language influence people's behavior. So that was his research topic when I was a teenager. So I thought, oh, that's interesting.
Tell me a little bit more, because we also talk a lot about metaphor here on the Agile Online Summit and on the Scrum Master Toolbox podcast. And we very often refer to, for example, that Agile retrospectives become much more creative and engaging when they use a metaphor like the sailboat retrospective, for example, to help people express their thoughts and ideas. But what do you mean, Judy, when you talk about metaphor in communication as well as storytelling?
So metaphor, in its technical terminology, the way it's used in the academic world, includes really big and obvious metaphors like the sailboat retrospective, where we're using the sailboat to represent the process of the sprint or whatever we're doing. And stories, each story that is told or each joke that is told is in some way a metaphor. It stands in for the thing you're talking about. What most people don't notice, though, is that language is made up of metaphors. And they're at about 6 metaphors per minute in most languages. And we've lost the fact that they are metaphors, but they are. So if we take I can see the words on my screen at the moment, Agile Online Summit. Each